Vicki France, and I'm going to talk to you today about reading and teaching children to read. Throughout the presentation, feel free to ask me any questions that you may have, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So I want to ask, what are the right ways to teach reading? Or are there any right ways? What makes one idea good and another wrong? And really, what is the best way to teach children to read? There's a lot of controversy over which is the best method to teach children to read. And there's two main competing concepts in the academic world right now. One is phonics only, and the other is whole language immersion. Now, children can be affected because each child learns differently. And if they are given different teaching methods throughout learning to read, it may cause them to be discouraged and hinder their ability to read well. Now, teachers and students have existed for as long as we know. You know, the older generation always is passing down their knowledge to the younger generation. But in this day and age, everyone wants to be right. But who's to say what is right? Even among the two different competing solutions to this problem, they have their different theories. So, first of all, I want to talk to you about phonics. It's a method of reading instruction that teaches language in its most simple components, such as learning the sounds of letters and certain letter combinations. Oh, yes, you have a question?
What does phonics entail?
Well, phonics, there's many different programs to phonics, but the basic bottom line of phonics is that it is an organized, methodical method of teaching children to read. First they teach them the sounds, and then they teach them sound combinations in order for them to learn their reading. And they use a lot of reading exercises to accomplish this. With this method, the children learn to decode words so that they can learn new words. In a report from the National Academy of Education in 1984, they found that phonics can improve a child's ability to decode words using individual sounds of letters and letter blends. This is important because we do testing so that we can measure how far along children have come. Although phonics is a great way to teach children to read, there are some disadvantages. Eileen Pace Nilsson, the director of the English Education Department at Arizona State in Tempe, she says that phonics takes the joy out of reading when children have little or nothing to say about what they will read. And this is sad because being able to choose one's own reading material is a powerful motivator. If the only time children get to make reading choices is once a week, then they will come to the library. When they come to the library, they will be woefully unprepared for real life, where on a daily basis they are presented with more than they can possibly read in the time they have available. So children need to find that joy in reading, and phonics does little to provide that joy. She also worries about the time that these scripted phonics programs take. It leaves the teachers little time to find their own creative ways to teach the children. And phonics can take away from the children finding the kind of pleasure and joy that will help them see that learning to read is worth the effort. I agree with this because if the children don't learn to enjoy the reading, then they may just not keep reading. They may get lost in the individual parts of the words and the individual sounds and not know what the whole context of the reading is. I recently interviewed Barbara Yahtzee. She has her master's in reading. She's been in the field for 29 years, and she is the Title I reading specialist and No Child Left Behind coordinator at our school in this local area. She believes that just teaching words and not hitting sounds will limit those children from being able to figure out new words that are not normally the vocabulary. So phonics really is important. So that leads me to my second topic, is whole language. That's the other competing solution. The whole language is a reading instruction method that emphasizes the use and recognition of words in everyday contexts and books that are not just textbooks. We immerse the children in literature of the real world. Yes, you have a question?
What does it mean to immerse a child in literature?
Immersing children in literature is using real literature in all aspects of teaching throughout the day, not just a specific reading time. They learn through reading real books, not just textbooks. And the basic skills that are taught in an unstructured way and throughout the day as the opportunity is presented. And through whole language, also children interact with one another and they help assist each other as they learn to read. Mrs. Yahtzee uses whole language because she states the children are able to write about their lives and then read what they write, and they are more familiar with the spoken language they use daily. So whole language lets them learn from their world within, the world around them. The disadvantage, says Onkar Guide, an opponent to whole language, he asserts that whole language is only good for developing a child's feelings, whereas phonics is developing a child's mind and increasing skills and knowledge. Whole language may leave a child unable to read, and they may not learn to decode the words in order to learn new words to increase their reading skills. And there have been cases when children have faked their way through it only to come out on the other side really not being able to read. The conclusion is that whole language is a beneficial part of reading instruction, but it is not complete. There are different aspects that are missing. We really strive to give our children a balanced diet for their nutrition. When we feed them a meal, we want them to be balanced in that. But we also need to assist them in having a balanced diet in learning to read. Oh, you have a question?
What's your preference for teaching reading?
Well, my preference is a little bit of both, because I believe that students can improve their ability to learn to read and their reading comprehension when they are taught a balance of phonics with whole language, not just one or the other. And this is what we call balanced literacy. It combines the structure of phonics with the basic building blocks of reading instruction with the holistic approach of whole language, which allows children to learn from real literature, which inspires joy in reading as well as increasing their reading comprehension. So really what balanced literacy is taking the best of both worlds. It's taking those basic building blocks of reading and teaching the children that. And it also teaches them through real literature, as well as getting reading comprehension and to find the joy in reading. Barb Yahtzee said, "I think that children should learn phonics as well as whole language. They need to learn strategies that will help them sound out words phonetically or by chunking parts of the words. They should know the rules of long and short vowel usage, and they should learn to use context clues, picture clues, and be able to use charts, diagrams, and other resources." Her students also use the dictionary to sound out words and learn the meaning of those unknown words. Because children learn at different rates and in different ways, it is important that teachers and parents use a variety of methods that work. We need to use the things that work for children, the proven techniques that teach children to read. But we also need to teach in a variety of ways so that we can teach the children what works for them. It's also important that we assist children in succeeding in life as well as in reading. If they become good readers, they are going to have a better chance of becoming lifelong learners and have success in life. You know, we all have the same goal in mind: phonics supporters, balanced literacy supporters, whole language supporters, and that is to teach the children to read effectively. The debate may continue over which the best method of teaching is, but if we can use all the resources available and all the best teaching methods out there, it stands to reason that children have a higher chance of succeeding in their pursuit of learning to read. As educators strive to learn and new research becomes available, it's becoming apparent that balanced literacy is the best way to teach our students to read.